We've all been there before, not being able to find good cleaners who actually want to work, no matter how much you pay them. But the truth is, your hiring process is broken. I've screened hundreds of cleaners and I've hired the good ones and the bad ones. And throughout the process, I learned what to do and what not to do. So in this video, I want to share my process with you so you can stop having to stress about who's going to show up to the job and get the job done. I'm going to be breaking down where to find the cleaners, how to vet them, how to sort through the applications, and then figure out of all the applications, which ones are the good ones and how you can determine if you're hiring the right cleaners. And before we get into it, just for some context here, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sergio and I've had cleaning businesses that did up to 60K per month. We also sold that cleaning business and I've helped over 1,500 people start and grow cleaning businesses. So I've seen it all when it comes to hiring cleaners. So that being said, let's get into it. So if you're watching this video, you've probably already tried to hire cleaners and it wasn't as successful as you wanted it to be. And I went through the same exact process. The first way that I'm gonna talk about is Indeed. And this is the most reliable, predictable way to find cleaners. But if you don't know how to use it properly, it can feel like Indeed is just a crappy platform. Because what happened to me was I put a job posting up, got a couple hundred applications, but every time I called someone, they either didn't answer or they just weren't qualified. When I went through this process, it had me feeling like, are there no good cleaners out there? Is there no good applications out of the hundreds of people? But the reality is, this is a numbers game when it comes to Indeed. So you have to know how to sort through the applications and how to find the good ones. Because I'm telling you right now, if you expect to look at 5 applications and find your go-to dream cleaner, it's not gonna happen. Out of 100, you'll probably find 3 to 5 good cleaners. So step 1, it all starts with the job posting. What are people seeing when they're looking through the jobs? And it's your job to come up with a job posting that's gonna convey very clearly what you're looking for. So if you're a remote cleaning business and you're looking for subcontractors, then you need to make sure to put that in the job application. Then you need to make sure to put in the posting and say that you are looking for people who, 1, have experience, 2, have all the supplies, have the transportation, and the ability to show up to jobs and get it done by themselves. On top of that, we're gonna double down on some of these requirements that are, deal breaker questions, and we're gonna put it in the application process. So when someone hits apply, there's usually a few questions that they're required to answer, and if they answer it a certain way, they will automatically be disqualified. So that's something that I like to put in there is, how many years of experience do you have? Or do you have at least 1 year of professional cleaning experience? And if the answer is no, then automatically disqualified. And then you can also ask a question like, do you have all the supplies and the ability to go and do jobs, by yourself? And if the answer is no to that, automatically DQ. By setting up your Indeed application this way, you're gonna save yourself a lot of time, a lot of headache of having to look through people that are probably just not gonna be a good fit anyways. But on top of this, you wanna make sure that your pay is set up in a way that is gonna be somewhere between $20 to $35 per hour. Because if you're putting up there, it's a percentage of the job and it's, 50% of the job or something, people are not gonna apply. They're just gonna see that and be turned off. So make sure that you're putting an average range of what your cleaners are getting paid. Now, once I have the job posted and I have the applications flowing in, what I like to do is a quick pass through and see, okay, does this resume, show some experience of cleaning, and does this person look somewhat reliable? I'm not looking if I'm gonna hire this person or not. It's more of a maybe and then a no pile, so that I could sort. There's a little question mark on Indeed, and you could put people in the question mark category, and that's like, this is like a maybe. And then you could also put people in the rejected category, and that's like, definitely don't want to hire that person. And in this process, I'm not sure if I'm gonna hire them yet, but I'm just looking, does it have a decent resume and do they have experience? So after that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down the list and I'm just gonna start calling these people. And I'm gonna call them and just wanna have like a 10-minute conversation with them and get a feel for, who they are and does it make sense? Are they a good fit for what we're looking for? And what are we looking for? We're looking for someone that has experience, has the supplies, has the ability to do the jobs themselves, and someone that has a good attitude, someone that has good communication. Through having this quick interview, not really formal, but like just getting a feel for them, you can tell if this is someone that you would possibly hire. After this, you say,
awesome. You know, like, it was good getting to talk to you. Let's hop on another call and just talk a little bit more about the position, if it makes sense for you. And from there, we'll decide, you know, if we want to move forward with it.
now I'm prepping you, I'm telling you right now, like my first experience, some people are not gonna answer. Some people are gonna answer and they're just gonna blow you off and say, hey, I'm not interested. And it's gonna feel weird and confusing because they applied for the job. But that is just a reality of putting a job posting for something that is, you know, lower level labor. As long as you go into this process with the mentality that you're gonna find 5 good cleaners out of 100, you can make 100 dials without feeling defeated after 20 and not finding like that really good cleaner. Now the second way you can find cleaners, and it's actually completely free, is through local Facebook groups or Nextdoor. Because all you gotta do is from your personal page, just put a posting up and say, hey,
does anyone here know of any good cleaners?
It can just be almost as if you're a customer looking for a good cleaner, and people are gonna recommend cleaners to you. And I've made this post and gone, you know, anywhere from 5 to 20 recommendations with, you know, all these different cleaners. And what I'm gonna do is just gonna call them and say something simple like, hey, this person recommended you on Nextdoor, and I was wondering if, you know, you have any availability for cleaning. And at first it kind of sounds like you're looking for cleaning, but then when they say yes or no, that's when you're gonna explain, oh, I'm actually, you know, like another cleaning company nearby, local in your city, and we're just slammed with work. We need some more cleaners, and we're wondering if you'd be interested in picking up some jobs for us. And then that's when you can kind of start like having a conversation. It's a little bit different from the Indeed one because on Indeed they're looking for you. This one you're looking for them. So there's a little bit more of a sales process there of trying to like, you know, get their buy-in and have them understand exactly what you're trying to do here. But once you do that, you can find some really great cleaners this way, and it's completely free. So definitely that's another route if you either don't have the money for Indeed or you can do it on top of doing Indeed. Now when it comes to the actual hiring process, this is a little bit of asking the right questions, but then also just from experience, seeing different patterns and knowing this is the type of person that I want to hire and this is the type of person I want to avoid. And this is something that comes with experience. You know, I've hired the bad cleaners and definitely a lot of bad cleaners in the beginning. But throughout that experience, I was able to learn, okay, this type of person is not this type of person I want to hire. So some of the green flags here, right, are someone that takes pride in their work, someone who has something they're actually working towards, right? I'm doing this business, I'm cleaning because X, Y, Z, right? It's something that's important to them. Also, someone that is professional, someone that's reliable and communicates with you. These are all great things to look for in cleaners. But then on the other end of the spectrum, red flags are they don't communicate well with you, right? Like you text them, you call them, they don't answer. They're always like taking forever to reply. They're just super unprofessional about it. They don't take ownership in their work. They don't take ownership in things that they do. It's always some excuse. They're always blaming someone else, blaming something else. And those are just the worst types of people to work with. So you want to avoid those types of people. Now, of course, if you ask a direct question in the interview, like, hey, do you take ownership for things that you do? Like, of course, people are going to lie if they don't take ownership for things because they want to get the job. So you have to be able to, you know, ask questions in an indirect way, kind of like understand some of their past experiences and even read between the lines because like I said, people are always trying to present their best self on an interview, even if it's a little bit not true, right? And so that's why that part kind of comes from experience, right? Seeing patterns in the different people you've hired throughout, you know, your experience. Now, after you've gone through the interview process, you've asked your questions, you know, you've gotten a feel for them and you feel like this is going to be a good fit, right? You've set the expectations. Hey, this is what this job is. You know, you're going to get paid this, you know, between anywhere from $25 to $35 an hour. This is what I expect from you. You know, if a job doesn't work out well, if the customer's not happy, you're required to go back. Like you've set all those expectations and everyone's good. Everyone's on board. The last precaution I like to take is something called a test clean. And this is essentially you sending them to a job where they think it's a real job, but it's actually somebody that you know. And, I like to do usually like a partial clean. Like if it's a 2-story house, I'll only do the bottom story. And I'll try to keep it, smaller, because technically that person is probably not going to pay me. It's like one of my friends or something. And, I'll do like a $200 clean where the cleaner gets paid $100. And the point of this is to get a feel for the cleaner, right? Since everything is being done remote, you're not actually going to be at the job. You're depending on your friend and their experience for them to tell you, hey, this cleaner communicated well, this cleaner, did a great job on my house, or the opposite, right? This person was rude, this person didn't clean what I told them to clean. The worst thing that you're looking for is, are they going to try to poach your customers? Because I've seen this happen before, and the test clean is the best place to catch this, right? You already set the expectation like, hey, these are customers of, ABC company, which is your company, and, your job is to show up and do the job, but they're still our customers, right? If they try to poach your customers, they're going to do it on the test clean, and if that happens, you're just going to cut it off right there, not work with them. But the test clean is a good place to find the green flags or the red flags, and then proceed to move forward or not at this point. If the test clean goes good and everything's good, well, now it's time to onboard them. And the most important part here is setting expectations. This is where, I've dropped the ball probably the hardest in the beginning, like having no experience. I just didn't set great expectations, and where expectations are not set, they're just not met. I'm not rapping here. What am I doing? A lot of times if we're doing this on a daily basis, or we've been in this, if we've been in this business for long enough, a lot of these things that feel like common sense are not always common sense to other people, right? For me, if I show up to a job, I'm going to clearly explain what I'm going to be doing throughout the job. But for other people, maybe that's not their expectation. Maybe they just show up to a job and they start cleaning without telling the customer really anything, right? So it's important to set these expectations and tell them what you expect out of them as they go to these cleans, so that you guys can be on the same page and everyone's happy. Because where most miscommunications and unhappiness with these types of relationships happen is when expectations are not clearly set. So make sure to over communicate them, say them multiple times, and make sure that they are 100% on board. And that's why I like to give them an agreement that basically has an outline of the expectations, and they have to sign off on it before they start working with me officially. Because that's them basically saying, hey, I agree to all these things that we set, before we started working together. And this is super important, something that I don't see enough companies doing, because they just, for some reason, expect other people to have these expectations. Now, the last thing, once they're hired, onboarded, and they're doing jobs for you, it's important to have a good relationship and nurture that, because a good cleaner can make you a lot of freaking money. Because a good cleaner will do good cleans, and they'll get reviews, testimonials, and referrals from your customers. And on top of that, have your customers keep coming back to you for recurring cleans. All of that equals more money for your business. So it's important to keep good cleaners on board. And what that means is keeping them happy by, communicating with them, making sure that you're sending them, the right type of jobs that they're looking for, making sure that the pay is, on par with what you set as the expectation, right? Because if you said it's normally going to be 25 to 35 and they're always getting paid $20 an hour, you set the wrong expectation and you're not living up to that. So that's on you. So make sure to communicate with them, appreciate them, tell them that they're doing a great job if they are, and if they're not, give them the feedback that they need so that they could be a better cleaner, not only for you, but for them, so that they can level up as a cleaner, as a business owner, and make it obvious that you're coming from a place of caring about them. And if you can nurture that relationship, you can have great cleaners stay with you for months or maybe even years. And lastly, I just want to mention something called ABC. Always be recruiting. You should always be recruiting cleaners, because the reality of this business is that cleaners are going to come in and they're going to come out, and you need to have a full bench of cleaners ready to go so that you don't ever have to shut your business down, because I see that way too often. People will have cleaners that leave and they end up not being able to make as much money as they can because they're telling customers that they can't get the job done for another couple weeks. And you don't want to be in that position. That's a great problem to have, but we can avoid that problem by continually hiring even when we have all the cleaners that we need. So that being said, if you have any questions on hiring or onboarding cleaners, put it down in the comments below, and definitely check out some of our other videos where we talk about how to start cleaning businesses, how to run them, and just so much more on maximizing your cleaning business. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next one. Peace.